Okay, we are live. Hello everyone, I'm Sanjay Gupta. I welcome you on Skill Horizon YouTube channel and you're watching Salesforce mock interview series. This is episode number 13 and right now whatever session we are doing they are based on development mock interviews. Okay, so you will be having lots of development related questions that I will be asking to you and I have Neil with me. So welcome Neil on the channel.
Thank you, sir.
So Neil was part of the previous session also, and
Yes.
we discussed lots of questions. So he will be my companion, and we'll be implementing. Sorry, we will be discussing lots of questions. So I will be asking questions to Neil as well as you. So if you guys know the answer, like since we will be having lots of objective questions or lots of subjective questions. So wherever you see options available, so you can type those in the chat. And if you know the subjective answer, so you can also write that. Otherwise, you can read the question and then you can practice at your own. Right? So now let's start with the session. So if we go to the next slide, so this is about my organization Skill Horizon, where you will be able to find lots of um courses which we are running online and offline. So you will be able to learn lots of things if you join those courses. So you can do visit the website. Okay, and we have the QR codes as well, so you can scan and be part of the community. I would recommend if you can join the Telegram community, because in Telegram community all the updates we are sharing, so that you will be able to know what is actually happening in the Skill Horizon ecosystem. Okay, so let's come to the question number one. So question number one is a subjective question, and I'm asking this question to Neil. He will be answering, and you can listen to him, and accordingly you can see like what is your knowledge. So Neil, differentiate between before and after delete. There are two contexts available for delete. We can do before delete and we can do after delete. And when should we use which event in our development scenario?
Okay. So, sir, as per the order of execution, when we perform a delete operation, before delete will be performed, and then the operation would be temporarily saved, and then after delete trigger would be executed, and then the final commit of the record will be done. So, in those business scenarios wherein we have to perform logics where we have to be pretty much sure about performing the logic after the record is deleted. Then we will use after delete, because in the case of before there can be validation rules, etc., that can stop the deletion of the records. So if we are making changes in on the basis of the deletion, then we'll use after delete. Otherwise, we'll use before delete.
Yeah, you are right. So first before delete will be executed, and generally before delete we use for the validation before deletion. And
Yes.
once, yeah, if we go for after delete, it means record is deleted, and after that if we want to do something on the related record, something like that, so then we can go for the after delete operation. Okay, so
Yes.
this is correct answer. I hope everybody already knows. If you don't know, I think with this explanation you are able to know. Okay, so let's go to the next question. So we have another question. So what is the value of trigger.old or trigger.old map in before insert? We are particularly talking about before insert. So there are four options available. Now in this question, you guys also can participate. So just read the question carefully, read all the answers, and then you need to select the correct answer. So first option says before insert scenario does not have old list and old map. Second option, because in before insert scenarios there are no old values, therefore the value of trigger.old or trigger.old map is null. And third is trigger.old or trigger.old map hold the aux existing record values. And fourth is trigger.old and trigger.old map contains the updated record values before they are saved to the database. So there are four options, just try to pick the correct one. Okay, Gaurav is saying B, Amit, Dubey, B, Suraj, C. I want few more answers. Okay, Akash is saying B. What do you think, Neil? What could be the correct answer for this one?
Sir, I think B is the correct answer
Why so?
because in before insert scenarios there are no old values. Therefore, the value of trigger.old or trigger.old map is null.
Hmm.
So
Right.
that I think is the correct.
Yeah. So basically, trigger.old, trigger.old map, trigger.new and new map, all four are available in all the events. But when you go for before insert, so in that case, trigger.old and trigger.old map will be null because since we are creating the record, so there is no old state available for the record. We only have the new state of the record, right? So that is why trigger.old and trigger.old map will be null in case of before insert, right? If I add after insert, so what you suggest in after insert, do they will be having any value or still they will be null?
Should I answer?
Yes.
Sir, I think in after insert also they will be null.
Right. In
Yes.
after insert also both trigger.old and trigger.old map will be null.
Mm.
Okay, so like I think your concepts are clear, Neil, regarding
Mm.
this question. So let's move on to the next question. So we have question number 3 now. So third question says consider the two triggers on account and contact when an account record is inserted. Okay, so just read these two triggers. There are two trigger A, trigger B. Trigger A is on account, trigger B is on contact. So trigger A is inserting new contact, okay, and account ID we are assigning through trigger.new0.id, and then we have a trigger on contact which is running before insert, and then we are using system.debug and we are showing trigger.isExecuting. Okay, so these two triggers are working when account record is inserted. So basically what will happen, trigger A will be initiated when account is created, and that is creating a contact, so the contact trigger will also be initiated, right?
Yes.
Now we have options on the next slide. So what will be the value of trigger dot is executing in the debug log? So true, first option. Second is false, as the trigger is not executed directly but as a result of another trigger. Error, because is executing as a context variable is available only when the trigger is called directly. And true, as the value of is executing is true by default. Right? So there are four options available. I think A and D both are same. True, as the value of is executing is true by default. Okay, so there are only three options, A, B, C. You need to choose any one from these options. We can go back to the question so that you can see the code. These are the code snippets. So I have two, three answers. Gaurav, Amit, Suraj, Akash, everybody is saying A. So what do you think? What should be the answer for this?
Sir, I think A is the correct answer here.
So you mean to say trigger dot is executing is by default true? It is having value as true if your code is running in the trigger context, right?
Yes, sir. I think the after the trigger is initiated, and when the execution comes to the debug line, then in that case it will debug as true. Trigger dot
Right.
is executing.
So whenever your code is executing, your code is executing through trigger. Okay,
Yes.
whenever your code is executing through trigger, like in a transaction trigger is involved, then this is executing will be true always. Okay,
Sure.
whether trigger is calling any method that is available in a class, then also this is executing will be like will be giving you true or false. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. Question number 4. So another question for you. When a case is created, match its email ID with the existing contacts and then relate the case with the matching contact. I'm repeating the question again. When a case is created, match its email ID with the existing contacts and then relate the case with the matching contact. Okay, so if you are creating a case, we need to relate it with the contact based on the email ID. right? So we have few options. On which object does the developer need to write the trigger? Which type of trigger is being used, before or after? Which trigger event will be triggered run on? Which context variable will we use? Which DML operation will we perform? So there are total 5 sub questions available in this question. Okay, so we can consider 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you need to write 5 answers, like 1 dash and the answer, 2 then hyphen answer. So this way just write your 5 answers. So let's do one by one. What will be the answer for the first question? On which object does the developer need to write the trigger here?
Should I answer?
Yeah, you can also.
Sir, I think since a case is created, therefore the trigger will run on the case object.
Right, you are right. So trigger will be initiated on the case. Now, second is which type of trigger is being used, before or after?
Sir, here in this particular question, we have to populate the contact ID in the case record. So I think we are making the change in the same record. So we can perform it in a before operation.
But in the question, if you see, we need to relate case with the contact. So, okay, you mean to say we will be updating case only. We don't need to do anything with the account, right?
Yes. Yes,
Yeah,
sir. With the
in that case,
context.
yeah, in that case, before will be the correct answer. Yes, you are
Yes.
right, because we just need to do a query, and
Yes.
with that we'll be able to relate. Yep. In
Yes.
before context we can do this.
Yes, sir.
After is not required. So those who are answering after, so that is incorrect. Before will work. Third is which trigger event will the trigger run on? So
The event would be before insert.
right. So for
Yes.
third question, answer will be before insert. Okay, so it will be before insert, and which context variable will we use?
So the context variable in this scenario, I think trigger.new will be sufficient to carry out the operation, whatever is
Right.
required here.
Yeah. So trigger dot is before, trigger dot is insert, and trigger dot new.
Yes, sir.
These are the context variable we can use. And which DML operation will we perform?
So I think it's a before trigger. So, and we are making change in the same record. So we don't need to perform any DML as of now in this particular scenario.
Yes, you are right. So in case of before, like if you are creating a case and through trigger you are making changes in the case record only through which your trigger is initiated. So in that case, DML is not required.
Yes.
Okay, so this is a tricky question. I would suggest everybody please take a screenshot of it, and later after the session you can just go through with this again. Okay, this is very good question. You can take a screenshot and then you can go through with this. Try to understand each and every aspect, because I can see most of the answers here in the chat are incorrect. Only first is correct, like trigger will be on case, rest are incorrect. Okay, so let's jump on to the next question. So we have number 5. What is the purpose of using a trigger framework in Salesforce? There are 4 options: to reduce code duplication and improve maintainability, to manage the order of trigger execution across multiple objects, to eliminate the need for DML statements in triggers, to automatically bulkify all triggers. So these are like best practices. You need to select which best practices are correct. Okay, before Neil you answer to this question, Gaurav, I want to answer your question for the previous question. You are saying like we are trying to relate the record with another object, but if you see that question, we are creating case, and on case only we need to populate contact ID. Okay, so through UI we'll be creating case, and through trigger we are modifying case only. We are not modifying contact. Okay, in the previous question number 4. So that is why before will work fine. That's why I ask you to have a screenshot of this and go through again and then try to understand. Yeah, here multiple options will also be fine, like A, B, C, D. So you can pick multiple options as well. For question number 5, you can pick multiple options also. So now just
I
go
think
through.
A is the correct option in this scenario.
Okay, so to reduce code duplication and improve maintainability.
Mm,
Yeah, I think A is the correct answer. B doesn't go because multiple objects order we cannot maintain, and that is not needed actually, because at a time only one object you will be working upon. DML we can use in trigger, and automatically bulkification will not be done. We need to write the code in such a way. So answer to this question is A. Okay, answer to this question is A, like we can reduce code duplication and improve the maintainability. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Question number 6. What is the default value of the Trigger.isExecuting context variable in Apex Trigger? There are 4 options available, and it is related to one of the previous questions, so just try to answer this. There are 4 options available, A, B, C, D. So just try to answer for question number 6. So we are waiting for your responses. Once you respond, then we'll move ahead. Yes, Neil, what could be the answer according to you for this question?
So I think it has no default value because the value depends on whether the trigger is executing or not. So it is automatically set by Salesforce. So C, I think, is the correct answer in this case.
Yeah, so you can say initially it won't be having any value, but if you are, but I think, yeah, if you are having a trigger in place and you are calling a method, okay, you are calling a method through trigger. So in that method we can check whether that method is being called through trigger or not with the help of this Trigger.isExecuting. So if your method is being called through trigger, it will be false, it will be true, otherwise false. Right? So we can say like by default it is not having any value, it is system defined.
Yes.
But when we are initiating it, so at that time by default it will be true. And
Yes.
if it is like your method is being called through the trigger context.
Yes.
Okay, so let's move on to the next question, interview question number 7. So when an opportunity is created with amount populated or opportunity amount is updated, then you need to populate annual revenue on account. And annual revenue is the sum of amount of all related opportunities, right? So on which object does the developer need to write the trigger? Which type of trigger is being used? Trigger event, you can say which type of trigger event is being used. Then third is which trigger event will the trigger run on? I think both are same. Fourth is which context variable will be used. Just try to answer all these questions. So you can read this question one more time. So you need to identify on which object you need to write the trigger. Then you can pick the event, like on which trigger event your trigger will be running, like before, after, or insert, update, whatever you want to do, and which context variable will we use. So here second will be, you just need to select before or after, and in third you need to select whether it will be insert, update, delete, undelete. So this way you can differentiate it. So just try to answer. There are total 4 questions available. So you need to type 1, 2, 3, 4. All questions you need to answer. Okay, Suraj is saying opportunity for first, like object will be opportunity. Then for second, after, okay, he deleted the answer. Amit is saying opportunity. So yeah, Neil, I think you can answer to this question because very less folks are answering. So just go ahead.
I think the since we are dealing with opportunity here,
Hmm.
and opportunity is being created or updated, so the developer needs to write the trigger on the opportunity object.
Right.
And as far as the second question goes, which type of trigger is being used? So in this case, since we are performing change upon the account object,
Hmm.
and the trigger is created on the opportunity object. So we are making change on a related object. So we need to perform DML operation. So we'll prefer after trigger in this case.
Right. So first question answer is opportunity object. Second question answer will be after uh, triggers we will be using. Now third, which events you will be defining?
Sir, in case of the events, since it is written that it should be a somewhat functionality, the functionality should be somewhat like roll-up summary. So in that case, we need to take care of insert, update, delete, and undelete. So
Okay, but here create and update is directly mentioned, and through
So-
rollup summary you can identify we need to delete and undelete as well, right? So you will be using after insert, after update, after delete, after undelete,
yes,
right? And context variables.
sir, the context variables which we'll use is before, is after, is update, is insert, is delete, and is undelete. And as for the values, we'll be using.
So now tell me for
Yes.
after insert which like data in which collection data will be there for after insert.
So for after insert, the data will be in trigger.new
Okay, only
and new map.
trigger.new and yeah, trigger.new and new map. And in
Yes.
case of update, after update,
So in after update, the data would be in all four: trigger.new, trigger.new map, trigger.old, and old map. The old and old map will consist of the old values, and the new and new map will consist of the updated values.
right. And what about delete?
Sir, in case of delete, in case of delete, the data would be both in case of before and after delete, the data would be in trigger.old and trigger.old map.
Right. So in case of
And
delete, data will be available in old and old map. New and new map will be null. And
yes,
what if we are doing undelete?
so in case of undelete, the data would be in trigger.new and trigger.new map, similar
Right.
to after insert.
Right. Okay. So all the questions, whatever I asked you about this, so you answered correctly. So those who are listening, I think whatever Neil answered, all those answers are correct. Okay, yeah, let's move on to the next question. So we have next question number 8. So if trigger A on account performs an update on contact, okay, and as a result trigger B on contact updates the related account, what is this scenario called? So indirect recursion, cross object recursion, cascade recursion, inter object recursion. There are 4 options. Just read this again. Read the question again. There are 4 options available and try to answer. This is a tricky question, and in most of the interview will be asking you about the recursion situation. So just try to answer what you think about this.
So we can use this as an example as well when we are asked about recursion.
Yes, exactly. When interview will be asking you like, can you demonstrate? Can you tell one real time example? So objects you can change because
Yes.
these are standard objects. So you can enhance this example. But if one object is doing update on another object and another object is doing update for the previous one, so there comes recursion in place. Okay. Yes, Neil. What will be the answer for this question?
So the answer to this would be B. It is an example of cross object recursion.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay, so let's move on to the next question. Yeah, most of you are also right, like you selected B, so it is cross object. So when a case is created, question number 9, when a case is created on any account, it means you are creating a case, and on any account means the case that you are creating will be related to an account. So at the time of case creation, you are populating account, related account in the lookup field. So put the latest case created in the latest case created number. So you need to create a text field on account. So whenever you create a case, this question is also available in one of my YouTube trigger playlist. On my YouTube channel, I have a trigger playlist. So in that you will find solution to this problem. Like if you create a case and you want to populate the latest case number on the related account, so what is the best way to implement this requirement? So there are 4 situations available. Just go through with them and try to pick the correct one. So I'm just waiting for a couple of minutes so that you can just go through the question and read the answers carefully, and you can write in the chat the correct answer. So we have lots of people connected live. So everybody, please try to write the correct answer. Let's test your knowledge. So we have lots of answers. Few folks are saying B, few are saying D. So Gaurav is saying D, Vipin is saying B, Suraj is saying D, Amit B. So I think either B or D, anyone. So let's see what Neil says, and then accordingly we can decide. So Neil, what will be the correct answer as per you?
Sir, I think B is the correct answer here.
So you mean
Because
to say write and after insert trigger on case, okay, and updates the parent account using DML, right?
I don't, and D is also very close, I think, because write and after insert trigger on case that queries the parent account and updates using DML. So I think after would definitely be there because we need to use DML. We are updating the account record.
But without querying, we can update the parent account because IDs we can get from the case. Okay, so
Yes.
yeah, most appropriate answer to this question will be B. Okay, second option is the correct one because parent account ID is already available in the case. So through that we can modify the related account. We don't need to query. If we need to fetch existing data from the account, then anyhow we need to do the query. But right now we are not doing that. We are just updating the accounts directly. So query is not required. So B is the correct answer, second option. Okay, let's jump on to the next question. So we have question number 10 now. So question number 10 says, when should we use Apex trigger overflows? Differentiate between triggers and flows. So this is a very common question. And in one of my online session today, someone asked this question as well. So I gave little bit differences like why to choose flows and why to choose triggers. So let's listen from Neil what he thinks about it, and then I will share my insights.
Sir, trigger and flows both are automation tools. And in triggers, we are using Apex code to write the automation. And in flows, we are using a flowchart kind of structure provided by Salesforce to write the automation, to create the automation. And since we are writing triggers using code, it is more customizable and more complex scenarios can be executed using triggers. And also bulkification is if we are dealing with bulkified data to a large extent, then we should prefer triggers. Otherwise, flows also is easy to use in that case. And flows basically is a drag and drop functionality, whereas trigger needs to be coded out using Apex. And it is easier for developers to write triggers, and most of the work should be done through flows because it is easier to understand for the client as well.
Okay,
So
so
I think
yeah, you are partially right. Lots of differences you quoted right. So let me give you a proper insight, and Neil, you can
Yes.
also listen to this. So basically, Apex Trigger and Flows both are available in Salesforce, and as Neil said, both are the automation tools. Uh, Apex Trigger is the older one. Okay, after that Salesforce launched Flow, and if we go back like 7 8 years back, if we go uh, when I started learning Salesforce, it was 2016 17. Okay, so at that time there was only two types of flows available: screen flow and auto launch flow. There was no record triggered flow available. In place of that, process builder was available. Okay, so what we used to do, we used to create a process builder, and through process builder we used to do automation, or through process builder we used to call the flows. This is how
Yes.
we used to do auto launch flow. We used to call through process builder. Later what Salesforce decided, since they want to do lots of implementation through low code. Low code means where less code is involved, and most of the implementation we need to do the this drag and drop functionality. So they improve flows. Now in flow you will see screen flow, record triggered flow, auto launch flow, schedule triggered flow. Okay, these different types of flows available. Platform event triggered flow, right? So automations are there. So since record triggered flows are there, so they deprecated process builder. Now process builder is no more available. You need to do all the automation with the help of record triggered flows, right? So since we
Yes.
have record triggered flows, that is low code development tool, and we have triggers, that is code based development tool. Now, first preference will be given to the customer. If customer needs implementation through low code tools, we need to implement those. Okay, if they need a solution through code, so we can go with that. Because why so? In some of the projects, client wants, like, we also need to do some modifications, so let's build automation through flows. That can be a situation, right? Okay, sometimes what will happen, you are trying to implement a flow, and for some business logic, some complex business logic, you need to write a code. So through flow we can call Apex. Through flows we can call Apex. We need to write invocable method, so there is a annotation available at the rate invocable method. So if you implement Apex class with that annotation, you can call that Apex into flow. So that's why it is known as low code development tool. Less code, so we can have code in flow, like we can call Apex, and then rest of the things we can do through point and click, right? So nowadays both are available, so we can either use flows or we can use trigger. It depends on the client requirement or nature of the project. If you have a scalable project where lots of business logic we are implementing, so at that time, for complex implementation we can use trigger overflows, right? Because in triggers reusability is easy. Okay, we can have nested loops easily implemented. We have maps and triggers, those are not available in flow. Okay, so
Yes, sir.
those features are missing in flows. Then if you want to perform after delete and after undelete operation, those are not available with flows. We need to do that implementation with trigger. Now if you write trigger, you need to write Apex code, then you need to write test classes as well. But if you go to flows, you don't need to write the test classes. Testing implementation is optional in flow. So these are some
Yes.
pros and cons which are available with trigger and flows. And this is a common question. So whatever explanation I gave you, if you can explain this way, I think that will make more impact on the interviewer. And just start explaining the previous history also, so that you know you can explain like what was happening earlier and now what is happening. So you need to know like past history and the present thing, and why Salesforce deprecated process builder, and why we are using record trigger flow. So all those things are available nowadays. So like based on this explanation, we can choose whichever tool will be beneficial for you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's move on to the next question now. So next is question number 11. It is having lots of options available. So which of the following represents the recommended best practices for writing Apex trigger in Salesforce? Just read all and you need to select multiple options. So there are 7 options available: A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So you need to choose the correct one. Just read all the options and try to select few. Maybe Neil, you can also answer, like read
Yes, sir.
read one by one and say like, is it best practice or no?
Okay, sir. So option A, write a single trigger per object and delegate logic to handler or helper class. Sir, I think this is one of the best practices, uh, that we should write the logic in handler or helper class,
Hmm.
and we should create one trigger file per object. So I
So
think A is one of
A
the correct answers.
yes, A is correct. A is part of the best practice.
Yes. And B, include business logic directly inside the trigger for a faster execution.
Hmm.
So I think this is an incorrect option, because writing business logic in trigger is something that is not appreciated, and logic should be kept separately, and something like abstraction in the OOPS concept. So the logic should be kept separate. So B is an incorrect option, I think.
Hmm.
And C, use bulkified code and avoid SOQL or DML statements inside loop. Sir, I think this is a correct option, because we need to avoid SOQL and DML inside loops to not reach our governor limits very easily. So, and also we need to write bulkified code so that it can run on bulkified data. We need to use collection. So, as till now, A and C, I think, are the correct options. And then D, write separate triggers for each business process on the same object for better modularity. Write
Yeah.
separate triggers for each business process on the same object. So I think it is similar to the
So will you prefer
um,
like writing separate trigger for
no,
each business process?
no, sir. So
Hmm.
a single trigger per object as per option A is the best practice. So writing separate triggers is not the correct option. So amongst A, B, C, D, I think as far as now A and C are only the correct option. And then E, always use all trigger events before insert, after insert, etc. to handle every possible scenario. So
Hmm.
I think this is an incorrect option, because we should only use those trigger events which we are using in our business logic to avoid the trigger from being initiated unnecessarily. So, and F, keep trigger logicless and use collections to process records efficiently. I think, sir, this is a correct option, that we should not execute the logic in trigger, and we should create handler and helper class. And G, trigger should always run before flows to ensure consistency. So I think this is something that is not in the developer's end, because the order of execution decides what runs first and what runs after. So A,
Yeah, A is correct.
C,
Then C is correct. Use bulkified code and avoid SQL or DML statements inside loop. Then
and F.
F.
Yes. So A, C,
Yeah,
and
so
F.
three
The
options
correct
are
options.
as per best practice: A, C, and F.
Yes.
Okay, rest are not as per the best practice, so these three are correct: A, C, and F. And I can see uh, Kushal, you are right. Amit Dubey, you are right. Gaurav, you are right. Suraj, you are right. Vipin, you are right. Madhuri, you are right. Shradul, A, C, and F should also be there. So mostly you gave the correct answer. I am really happy. Like, we have a quite intelligent audience. Everybody is able to know the uh, as per the best practice what should be the correct answer. So I appreciate your efforts. Keep guessing the correct answer. So let's jump on to the interview question number 12. Okay, so which type of custom setting can have different values for different users or profiles? So there are four options: list custom setting, hierarchy custom setting, static custom setting, and metadata custom setting. Just pick the correct answer, and if you have gone through custom settings, then only you will be able to answer. And custom setting and custom metadata type both are very important topics. In every interview, most of the interviewer asks this question.
Yes, sir.
So just try to answer this question. Which type of custom setting can have different values for different users or profiles? Guys, what happened? I just appreciated your efforts, and you are invisible. Just answer to this question. It is very simple. If you have implemented custom setting, you can easily answer. Okay, yeah, we are getting the answers. Mostly are saying B. Okay, so before we predict the correct answer, so Neil, how many types of custom settings we can create?
There are two types of custom settings that are available in Salesforce.
Hmm.
Uh, should I name them?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So list and hierarchy are the two types.
Yeah, so
And
I think it is kind of 50-50. You
yes,
gave a you picked the lifeline. So
yes,
C and D we can remove. Okay, it is a
yes.
50-50. So now there are two options, A and B. So which is the correct answer as per you?
Sir, B is the correct answer, I believe. Hierarchy
Yes.
custom settings.
Yeah, B is the correct answer. So A basically gives us tabular view, but we can have profiles in hierarchy custom setting. So B is the correct answer for this question.
Yes.
Okay, so let's move on to the next one. So interview question number 13. So state the difference between Trigger.old and Trigger.old map with an example. So I want to know what is Trigger.old, what is Trigger.old map. Okay, similarities, differences, examples, just try to explain.
So trigger.old and trigger.old map are both context variables
Hmm.
that are available in triggers.
Right.
And trigger.old is a list type, and trigger.old map is a map type. That means trigger.old is a list collection, and trigger.old map is a map collection that has a key and a value. So the key in trigger.old map is the record ID, and the value is.
Yeah, I think there was some internet issue from my end. You can share the screen now again, Neil.
Yes, sir. Sir, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Hello.
Yes, you are audible.
Okay.
Just a second, I'm just checking.
Yes.
Yeah, just quickly share your screen.
Yes, sir. I have shared my screen. Just a second.
No, it is not visible.
Sorry. Yes, sir. Is it visible now?
Yes, it is being shared. Yes. So we were, yeah, we were on which question?
So Trigger.old and Trigger.old map.
Yeah, so you already answered your question, this question, right?
Yes, sir. I have almost answered the question.
Yeah. So basically, both are context variables. And sorry, guys, due to some network issues, it was disconnected. So we are back again. So trigger.old and trigger.oldMap both are context variables. Old is a list of S object, and oldMap is a map where ID and values will be available related to particular object. And generally, they have values in update and delete. Okay, in these two contexts they will be having values. In case of insert and undelete, they won't be having any value, they will be null, right?
Yes.
And yeah, these are the simple differences between these two. Okay, so I think we can move on to the next question now. So question number 14, which of the following statement about custom metadata type is correct? There are four options, just read them quickly and then try to answer. And if you are not aware about custom setting and custom metadata type, so do implement. I am running another series. So in that series, custom setting I already explained, 100 days Salesforce challenge. I need to do one more session on custom metadata type. So that is already scheduled. So in this week, I think on Thursday, I will be doing that session. So custom setting and custom metadata type, I will be comparing there. So if you want to follow that series, so that will be helpful. So just predict the correct answer to this and type your answer in the chat. There are four options available, choose the correct one. So most of the folks are saying B, both the type definition and its records can be deployed between org. Okay, what you think?
I think B is the correct answer. Custom metadata type is deployable between orgs,
Right.
both the type and definition, both the definition and its records.
Yeah, you are right. So it can be deployed. Records can be
Yes.
deployed. Right?
Yes.
So you are absolutely right. So what we can do, let's jump on to the last question of the day. So we have this code. Consider the following Apex code. You can go through with this code. So account trigger, and here we have a loop. On trigger.new, we are creating a list. Inside that, we are adding accounts. Okay, and then we are using database.insert, right? And implementing another loop. So I'm giving you a couple of minutes, just go through this code, and then we will be having a question which will be following this code. Okay, I think we can move on to the next slide so that we can have the question. So assume there are three accounts inserted and one contact fails due to a required field missing. There is a mistake, it should be three contacts. Okay, we'll be creating, can you please go back to the code? I think it is on, no, it is on account. We are inserting account, and then with account we are creating related contacts. Okay, got it. So just go to the question. So there are three accounts inserted. So let's assuming three records we are inserting from the UI, and one contact fails due to a required field missing. So what will happen after this trigger executes? So all three contacts are inserted and the transaction succeeds completely. None of the contacts are inserted because one record failed. Two contacts are inserted, one fails, and the error is logged in the debug. And fourth is the code will throw a compile time error as database class cannot be used inside triggers. So what will be the correct answer to this? So mostly are predicting C. What you think, Neil?
I think C is the correct answer. Two contacts are inserted, one fails, and the error is logged in the debug.
Yes, everybody is right. So C is the correct answer. If you are using database class method, so partial success, partial failure can be achieved. Okay, everybody is right. So C is the correct answer for this particular question. So yeah, I'm really happy. Today we had a wonderful session, and this was the last question for the day. And in the next slide, you will be having a QR code. So I would request if you can follow us on Instagram or Telegram community. We are sharing all the updates so that you know like what upcoming sessions will be there. And I'm really happy with the performance of the audience today. You predicted most of the questions correctly, right? And just take the screenshots of any of the question. I would be happy if you can share these questions on LinkedIn. Take any question whichever you liked and share the words on the LinkedIn so that more and more folks can join these sessions and they can also revise their knowledge and they can be ready for the interviews. So 13 sessions we have already done, and the one who will be going through with all the sessions will be able to revise for the interviews. Okay, so this will be for beginners or intermediate developers, right? Okay, so with this note, I just want to thank Neil for helping me out to continue the series. He's helping me in preparing questions as well. He's helping me to answer the questions so that you can have a real time experience of the mock interviews. Okay, so till now we did 2 sessions only on the triggers. Next session will be mixed of trigger and test classes. Okay, so right now we are picking objective and subjective question. I will be having some mock interviews where I will be giving some tasks to Neil, and live he will be implementing those solutions in front of you through developer console. Okay, so this is the plan for future, and thank you so much guys for joining this session, and next session we'll be having after Diwali. Okay, so next week there will be no session after Diwali break because in India it is a like massive festival. So I don't think no one will be watching this because you will be enjoying Diwali with the family. So we'll be having a break, and for me also it will be a break because I work a lot on weekdays, so I also need a break. So after Diwali we'll be continuing this series and we'll be doing couple of session every week so that more and more interview questions you can prepare. Okay. So yeah, Amit, I'm also waiting for the 100K subscribers. So 1500, I also 1500 folks I need. Then we'll be having a silver button, and we'll be sharing that with you. I will come live with the silver button whenever I will be having. So Gaurav is asking, database class is built in Salesforce. Yes, Gaurav, it is built in. Okay, so I think we can wrap the session, Neil. Thank you once again.
Yes, sir. So thank you for having me, and I'm very grateful to be part of this because I'm learning Salesforce. Before I was mentored by you, even then I was learning from you only. So it is I'm something very different than me.
Yeah, really happy, and maybe in future we'll do lots of session on triggers, LWC,
yes,
integration. So lots of things I have. So we'll be doing those things.
Sure.
Okay, okay. Thank you.